Hey, this is Chris Roper, Editor-in-Chief of the IGN PlayStation team, and I'm here today to talk about Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit, the first appearance of the franchise on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Unlike some of the other Dragon Ball Z franchises where they introduce a large adventuring element or a lot of story parts, this is a straight-up fighting game, and really that's what Dragon Ball Z fans want to see. One of my issues with the game is that, from a presentation standpoint, if you're not a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, it can be really hard to pick up on the story that's happening. You really don't have a whole lot of exposition about what's happening. They just sort of start off and all of a sudden androids are attacking or whatever.
Understand, I won't go easy on you just because you're a woman. Then again, you aren't a woman. You're an android.
And you're just kind of thrown in the middle of the storyline. Fans might be able to take parts of it and extrapolate, what the actual story is from it, but, new fans will just kind of have to deal with what's happening here and just go right into the fighting.
The time has come to fight.
Fortunately, the fighting mechanics in the game are pretty good. This is a game that's very easy to pick up and play because you're only using a few buttons for the basic maneuvers, but also offers a lot to master as far as timing and other button maneuvers you need to do and basic fighting mechanics. If you go in and just button mash right from the start, you can pick up and play the game pretty easily and win a bunch of fights against the computer at least. The face buttons do heavy and light attacks or guard, or use your key attacks for some range stuff. And you can get by the game with those pretty simply because of the depth in the game that you can pick up on once you've started mastering some of these controls. So once you get all of these other elements down after lots of practice, you're going to have a much larger fighting system at your disposal, and you'll really be able to take on anybody that comes at you and just mashes buttons. As far as content in the game goes, it doesn't quite live up to the level of some of the other games we've seen in this series with hundreds of characters or whatever, but there is a pretty good amount of characters to choose from. You have a give or take about 25 or so, and they range through a bunch of different pieces of the Dragon Ball saga, so that's pretty good. Staged, on the other hand, you only have a handful to choose from, and a lot of them are really just different backdrops. And they don't really, you're just seeing stuff in the background a little bit differently, but it doesn't really change the fighting all that much, and they can largely be ignored, and, that's not really as good. So I really wish that there was more stages to choose from. They could have gotten a lot more inventive like we've seen in other games, but, what is there does look good. Speaking of looking good, one of the great presentation elements of the game is just how it looks. Characters represented fantastically, they look like the guys from the show, real voices are in there, so that's great. They've done a fantastic job of mimicking and coming up to the level of what you're going to see in the cartoon. As I mentioned, Burst Limit is capable of being played online, and aside from leaderboards and rankings of that sort of thing, and you have a power ranking that kind of goes up and down depending on how you're doing, there's not really a whole lot to it other than just finding a player in a match. You can't set up a tournament ladder or anything like that. What we've tried is sort of hit or miss depending on how well it works. Playing guys that are local to us in the US ran extremely smooth. Seemed like they're right there with us on the same system. Playing other guys, and I'm guessing there are other parts of the world since the game isn't quite out here yet, had a fair bit of lag. It was a little choppy, so that's a little screwed up. So if you're playing some guy and there's some lag involved, it's going to change the dynamic of how the game's played. But if you are playing somebody local to you, which shouldn't be a problem once the game is available everywhere, then it plays brilliantly. It's extremely fast, and it feels just like somebody sitting right there next to you on your couch.
I like that strong body of yours.
So overall, Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit is a really fun fighting game. There's a lot there for beginners and masters who like to come in there. There's plenty of stuff for you to learn, to practice with the game, to get better, expand your skill set, so that's really cool. As I mentioned, we wish there were more stages, but the inclusion of online play sort of helps tie it over. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, there's going to be a lot to like here. As I mentioned, if you're not so much of a fan, there's going to be a little bit of hurdles overcoming and understanding the story, but if you just want to get in there and fight some people, and you're not into like super hardcore stuff like Virtua Fighter, then you're going to find a lot to like here.